Aquarium. I am going live now because, well, usually I go live on Tuesdays. This may be a bit of a shorter show than normal, just because I need to go help with a couple last things moving. But every fish thing in my possession is now in this house, so that's good, right? Um, Let me know how the quality is on this. I've still been fighting the internet and trying to get good quality internet streaming. I'll switch to my phone again. It's just I don't have unlimited data or whatever. I mean, I do. I have unlimited through Verizon, but they'll throttle it at basically another live stream and a half. So let me know how I'm looking. Is it all grainy? Is the audio okay? That kind of stuff because I'm still trying to sort all that out. But hello, everybody. Hello, George and SC Caroulas and Average Fish Keeper, Mad, Mad Cat, Nigel, Von Lurker, Sandy. Good to see everybody rolling on in. Um, Obviously, you guys are welcome to ask any questions that you feel like asking. If you've got any fishy troubles, fishy quandaries, let me know how the reception is here. I'm wondering if the wall, the giant wall, is part of the issue. But it might have just been too that my wife was streaming Netflix during our last session. But let's flip this around so I can show you. I mean, it's a mess right now, and this is like, hey, burn me down, house, of a hazard at the moment. But this is just out because I've been working on it today, and it all will be up. But yeah, so, and hello, Kevin. Hello, Broadcast Illusions. And Jess, what's going on? Chris, hey. Craig, hello. Volunteerism, hello. So, in any case, what I want to know from you guys is I got to figure out how I want to arrange this room. I mean, and what it comes down to is the way I want to arrange the room. I mean, I want to be able to sit on the couch and enjoy a few aquascapes. I already kind of screwed that up, so I might drain these tanks and switch spots with some longer tanks. Also, a little nugget of information is that I found out online today, just kind of by accident, that there is a dollar per gallon sale on petco.com, and you have to order it online instead of going to the store. But for the next month, they have the dollar per gallon sale or half off over 40 gallons, and it's going till the 27th or 8th of March. At least in my area. I don't know if that's nationwide, but it appeared to be. So I'm going to definitely take advantage of that. That's why I bought that old 55 gallon that was supposed to go right here, because this will fit the 55. Hey, Bob Kaler, what's going on, Kaler's Aquatics? $3. Thank you so much, buddy. I can use it, and I will. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, by the way, Bob has been watching this channel for a long time, been a supporter, and he's got amazing fish and a great setup, both salt and fresh and furry pets to look at. So check it out. But what I'm looking at here is kind of the idea of what I do. What do I want to do? So I think I'm gonna put definitely. Oh, Pansy American, hello, welcome. The other Tiffany, hello. So I think this will keep this a 40. I can definitely fit a 10 on its side with the 40. It's tight, and that's kind of what I'm coming down to deciding is like, do I want to do this with 10s where I only see part of the 10, or do I want to do, should I just try to get as many as I can in and do more breeding projects? So it's kind of like, do I want to aquascape or do I want to breed? Like this, I think this may move to the center. I probably need a new stand. This one is not going to hold the weight, I don't think. It held this tank previously, but we'll see. Today I also went to the store and I picked up at Aquarium Co-op, I picked up some thread fins. I haven't had these in a long while, and they can be really pretty once they color up. These ones are really dull at the moment, but when they color up, they look nice. And I thought with the long fin tetras, they would get along, and with all the twig red lizard catfish, they're not twig catfish, the red lizard catfish, they'd look good too. So that's a good idea, putting the most personable aquariums next to the couch. And I've kind of done that with my panda loaches, which even though they're in a 10-gallon, they're one of my favorites, and I love them so much. So I just, I like having them sitting here, and I can watch them forage and do their thing. And they're with my blue shrimp. So the blue shrimp were my first shrimp, and I've had them a whole long while. The other thing is that my tanks kind of got thrashed when they got moved. And so I've got them. The other tank I really do love, though, is my Goby tank, which is this one and the one in the other room. And now that, hey, Danikin, what's going on? What's up, Kenny or Danny? I'm guessing Kenny this time of day. What thread fins are they? They're probably a southern collection point, as they don't have much color in them right now. One at the store had purple, but she couldn't quite grab it on its tail, on its caudal fin. But yeah, so I don't know for sure what collection point they're from, but probably farther south than north. The Aru Island and Papua New Guinea ones, I think, tend to have more color than the ones found lower, I believe. I might be wrong. It might be reversed, but I think... Oh, it's Lisa. Oh, never mind. You're saying hi to Lisa. I was like, Lisa, that's not Danny. What's going on? My mind was blown for a moment. Any case, so if those of you who have been asking, thank you. Sergio's doing okay. He's 5. I don't really know how long an angelfish lives. When I was younger, I never kept them more than 5 years. I usually had them end up dead before that, honestly, to be frank. But Sergio's a little less tilted the last 2 days, and so I hope he's getting better. And I think he did just hurt his swim bladder when he banged his head, because he's back to his flirting with the ladies. So hopefully that's fine. And the other thing that's interesting is when I change the water in this tank, these little reed tetras, they have turned blue. They're not silver. I don't know if you guys can see that, but they're actually like iridescent blue bodied now. Like, it's subtle, but it's beautiful, especially when the sun shines in. And also the glow light tetras, which are just a cheap $1.99 fish, sometimes 99 cents. I know the glass is dirty right here where I'm at. I haven't gotten to cleaning anything yet. But yeah, so all these fish just really, really have done a lot better moving, actually. Once they got here, as long as they lived in the move and didn't get too cold or shocked or whatever, since moving, they've all colored up pretty nicely, which is cool. So I think the water here is good. The TDS is a little higher than my old water. Also, I managed in this tank, so you see I can put on these shelves the same ones. I can also do 220 longs and a 20 tall if I want. These are staggered oddly right now, just because I wanted to see how it looks centered if I wanted to move 2 5s and a 20 in the center, if I wanted to do that and have them sideways, or I don't know what I was doing. But I also picked these up because Petco was PetSmart was price matching, and so I picked up these Whisper filters, which is what I'm using here. And I like these just because there's no wheel or anything. They come with junk in them, this stuff, but you don't need to use it. I mean, you can put whatever you want in it. It's just a big empty filter with slots. And so I like that. I'm probably going to make a video in the near future again, since I made one like 4 years ago, about how to customize your filter. I mean, the first thing I do is I throw the charcoal pad literally across the room when I get that in a filter pack. I only use it to clean meds out of aquariums. The other thing is I brought over some starters of my vinegar eels and the micro worms. So that's good. And then this tank here, my Malawa shrimp they're all over. This tank definitely got rocked. And this is the one that hasn't had a filter, and it hasn't had a filter or heater for years. So I just decided to keep it that way, and the quarries seem to be fine. I was a little curious if the sediment sloshing in the car got messed up or anything, but if anything, it looks like, sorry about all this glare, it looks like the silt layer actually got more silty and separated again. So there's silt, then substrate, and then silt. And I think that silt definitely turns into like a clay almost, and it locks in the lower layers quite a bit, which keeps the ammonia down. So I think that works pretty well, and I'm happy with that. However, these tanks, like the Apisto tank, I mean, you can see just how rocked they got. They're not scapes anymore. They're just plants shoved in a tank. But it's okay. I'm not worried about it. Here, I've got my cherry shrimp, and do Scarlet baddis eat baby snails? Yes, they do. They eat anything, honestly. Here we go. He'll be zooming all over because he can see himself in the reflection, and I need to not have him do that. Even though he's beautiful when that's happening, you can see he's a spaz case, and he just goes all over the tank, zooming around, thinking he's like basically charging at windmills. He's just attacking imaginary foes. And granted, I know this tank is not having any babies while they're in here, or they are, but they're getting eaten. They're shrimp. But there are 3 female baddis in here with him, and they're finally grown up. And I said I was going to send them to Jesse over in Hawaii at HC Aqua, but I kind of want to have them spawn one time first, so I can guarantee that they're females and not subdominant males. So I'm going to wait for that, and we'll see what happens. Oh, look at this. Looks like we also have a little fry. Looks like a Medaka rice fish fry of some sort, in with the green shrimp. But what's nice about this house, these are my reject. This isn't even plugged in, so no heat. But I mean, even without heat, this room is staying really warm. These tanks are keeping it really warm. And then I've got the iron topaz female, no males yet. But I have the female, and then I've got the gold cichlids in here, the gold dwarf cichlids. But then down in here, if we can find them, there were, oh yeah, they're there. There's some baby fry of the female, the topaz guppy, the iron topaz guppy. So I hope that that we have a couple males, and then I can start cranking them out, because that's a beautiful fish that I'd love to spawn again. I also want to spawn the Luminatus again soon. And then the ultimate project for this tank was going to be to spawn both the twig catfish, sorry, they're not twig catfish. I keep saying that. The red lizard catfish, and the long fin tetras, which if you saw my new video, you know there's a lot of different tetras. However, I have never seen them for sale in the US other than Jason at Redfish Bluefish, other than his site and his shop. So I think he may still be the only one that has them in the US, the German and Czech versions. Now this is probably my favorite tank, and ironically I thought I'd be keeping it in public, so to speak. Look at this goby. Look how beautiful this cobalt goby. Well, of course it goes and hides. The cobalt goby, though, is just looking fabulous. This tank, definitely, I had to take the rocks apart, and if you recall, this was my newest scape. Here comes that goby again. But the cobalt gobies in this tank, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just the algae. There's still quite a bit of algae growing in this thing. If you can see, like here, it's green hair algae, so I'm not worried about it. It's like staghorn and black beard that stress me out. And I've gotten that to go away just by basically allowing the green algae to take over and manually removing staghorn and black beard algae when I see it, and killing it with a syringe. Basically, I just fill a syringe with hydrogen peroxide and squirt it right on there. But look at this blue cobalt goby. He is just gorgeous. And the female is around here somewhere, but she's got a giant belly, swollen, and she looks gorgeous too. This scape, I need to... So these are going to be the only 2 tanks that are allowed outside of Fishville. But another thing I want to do is move these guppies so that they can spawn better. These are the blue panda guppies, Dumbo ears. Aquarium Co-op, I just noticed, was selling them for, I think, $24.99 a pair. And I've been selling them for, like, I don't know, $5 each or something. So I might up the price to, like, I don't know, 15 a pair or something like that. But they do take a little longer to breed, and it takes longer for their fins to grow out. But they're really a stunning fish. Clearly I need to clean the glass everywhere. The other thing I want to do is set up a new tank for these guys, because the female, see her? Look at her belly. She's got her ovipositor out, and she's like ready to go. But the one male, there's 4 females and 1 male, is not showing any interest in her. And so I want to give them some space. I don't know if it's just stress or what, but they hang out and then they don't spawn. That's the male there. So yeah, and those are Nanochromis. So I want to, and actually shout out to Danikin. Check his channel out too, and his wife's channel out. But they brought me up from Portland, from the wet spot. They brought me up those fish, as well as the gold cichlids. Now these are the Panduro, not Pandarini, but Panduro is what they were sold as anyways, Apistos, and they're getting full grown, and the males look really nice, colored up, but the female is this unreal yellow, that, well, she's in the dark, but she just glows, and so you guys have probably seen some pictures of her. And also the sparkling gouramis are totally spawning for me, which is another exciting thing. And they're doing it in the community tank, which then the Apistos immediately decide to munch down. So I'm going to try to save them. Oh, look at this. Speak of the devil. We have some fry that must have just been born that are trying to avoid being eaten. So I'll need to rescue them and keep them separate. So right now I only have 4 live bearer lines, which is very minimal for me. I've kind of, I guess I'm a minimalist now, right? Clearly. This is clearly what a minimalist's house looks like. And by the way, these things were a lifesaver. If even for like this tank, moving it, if you're going to move it with substrate and some water in it so that you don't have to recycle and start it, one of these things on either end at like this angle, and then having, like, even my wife could help me. It wasn't heavy. I mean, it was like maybe 35 pounds each or something. But compared to carrying that alone with your arms abroad and then trying to get through a doorway and then your weight shifts, it's just a recipe to ask if you've got a hurt back for pain. So I have a link to those in one of the moving videos, but I think I'll go back and add it to this one just because they're great. I got them for 2 for $25 on Amazon, so I thought that was a good deal and a great product. So also, you can see the shelves easily have room. I could do another 20 long and then a 10, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 5. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. But basically, if I leave this space like this, then I can get in here and actually access everything pretty easily. But the other problem, or the other nice thing is that the breaker in the house is wired right down the middle. So this room shares this living room's breakers. These 2 plugs share the outside plug, and then there's a plug here and one oddly in the closet that share the bathroom plugs. So that's nice for distributing the load. I mean, I lucked out there big time. I'm gonna let you guys in on the chaos that is my life here, and that is this stuff. Now all our boxes are here. Tell me if the signal gets choppy, but basically, does it look like any of my clothes made it to either side of this place. So I bartered with my wife since it's only a 2-bedroom house, and granted, we don't have any kids right now. I mean, we may adopt a kid someday or whatever, but uh the trade was literally, honey, you can have the entire 9 foot by 6 or 7 foot deep closet and the bedroom for, I don't know, we might put a lounge thing in here, like a lounge chair and some bookshelves. But basically, I traded my soul to an angel. We'll say that instead of the devil. But yeah, the other thing I'll show you guys. We'll switch over to Wi-Fi right now. Hold on, guys. Or not to Wi-Fi. All right. I mean, those of you who missed it for those of you guys who missed it when it was really choppy. I mean, the quality of the broadcast may go down right now too. I'm not sure, but I've got this 55 gallon that I think I want to do sticklebacks in, maybe outside. Some three spine sticklebacks, and then this stuff was all left here. Some oddball containers, but you better believe that I'm gonna flood any trash can. And I mean, we'll introduce a few fish at a time, because who knows what was in it? Probably just trash, or recycle, I should say. But yeah, so this yard, I mean, I'm 10 blocks north of Seattle city limits, literally. And this yard is gonna be epic for tubbing. Wife doesn't know that yet. I mean, she knows I want a pond, and that I have a 400-gallon pond waiting. But I mean, yeah, so we've got some room here, and here, let me just undo this code real quick. So the code is 5555555. So this shed smells awful. I wouldn't want to put fish in here at the moment, but I mean, I don't know, a lot of this crap was in here. So like, some of it is like shutters for the house, some of it's paint for the house, extra marble, or oh no, this is like melamine or something. Never mind, it's plastic. I thought that was marble. I hadn't touched it till just now. But this is all set up like it was gonna be insulated. And I think, where was it? I think there's some insulation stuff somewhere down here. Oh no, it's in these bags. There's insulation stuff. So, and electricity. So definitely, like, at least my rock polisher, and I mean, if I want to hatch brine shrimp or something, or do chickens or any of that stuff, we can do it, which that's pretty cool. I've never had that ability. Yeah, I mean, I've never owned a house with that ability, so I've never lived in a house since I was a kid. It's always been apartments. So yeah, and then we've got a nice apple tree here, and then a beautiful magnolia tree right up here, and a magnolia tree will have magnolia pods, and then we've got a madrona tree in the corner, and yeah, so I'm really excited. And then the water will be coming, so there's the fish room. Yeah, my closet is basically out there, yes. So my fish room, I think I'm gonna run a drain out through here and just kind of into this general area, like along soaker hose, with a filter right near me. And then I've got a little electric sump. But the other thing, I haven't met them yet, but check this out. So they've got big old koi and a turtle that was out earlier, so it must have heat in there. But they've got a pond and a hot tub, so I need to make friends with them, for sure. But yeah, so that's the house. The house itself is real small, and I've got some work to do on fixing some oddball wiring and just weird drywall stuff that's broken and messed up. But tubbing, yes, I haven't met them, but I'm going to film their backyard over and over and over. Hey, I can see it from my fence. So then the other thing is we have uh, a tankless water heater. And so I'm trying to decide how I want to set this up, but I definitely don't want to do water changes anymore. I'm over it. I've got 5 herniated or destroyed discs, and I'm just over it. So I really want to do a drip system. For now, I've got this, which is a mess, but it's working. And this thing was on sale, I want to say. I think I got it for $19.99. Like, it was so cheap, and it's the Whisper 150 from Tetra, and it's running right now 10 tanks on Aquarium Co-op medium size and small size filters, or on these little customs where I broke off. I have a video on how to make those for really cheap. I mean, like $3 a piece or $4 a piece, but basically it's the sponge off one of these and then a clip from another thing, and then you can just clip it on the end and make these little quick filters that work really well. But yeah, so I've got those. I got the HOBs, and I can't decide. It's going to be some combo of HOBs and some combo of them. And yes, it's a southern facing window. And right now in winter, so I need to be conscious of algae in the tanks. I mean, all tanks in theory, but really what's getting the sun line kind of falls right into here. And my loaches, they love it. I don't care. Shrimp loaches, they can have it. I just need to keep the front glass clean. And the gold cichlids, they like it too. They munch on the algae all day long. So I'm probably going to pick something though, like hill stream loaches and shrimp, and move those guys out of there just because of the sunlight. So, but yeah, that's what's going on. I have a planaria infestation going on in here. And then I still have this space here. This drawer has all my knickknacks, like my reagent stuff. And then these are like random pieces that I didn't use, but I might use. I mean, just weird stuff like plant baskets that I've modified for filter covers, and you know, weird odds and ends from old filters that are broken or whatever. Same with here, and wiring and piping. And then down here is all my medications and quarantine setup stuff. So that stuff could definitely get set over here. I want to put a brine shrimp hatchery kind of in here, I think. I've got some CO2 stuff here, but I don't think I'm going to run CO2 in here unless maybe if I do, I'll turn the 2 bottom tanks into planted tanks. And what I'm wondering from you guys, you can leave it in the comments after or whatever, or in the chat, and I'll come back and look at it later. But I kind of want to do, again, I want to do like sand and coarse gravel and stone, and do a flowing river tank. My wife is real annoyed by the noise of water when it's real loud. So another video that will be coming out is how to quiet these, kind of any hang off the back filter essentially. There's a nifty little trick that, I mean, maybe you guys know, but figured it out. The other thing that I think I might want to set up in here, not over here, but that's where it is at the moment, is a lab for the microscope for diagnosing fish issues and things like that. These I'm going to sneak back out into the living room. My Elasoma tanks, because they require very little space. They don't need a heater. They don't need anything, really. And then I want to do a green screen. Yeah, keep the tank full. Bob, you're a wise man. I want to do like a green screen thing, maybe here. I don't know. But I want to utilize the space. So this is like my tiny house that is mine. that I have to figure out how I'm going to do exactly. But the real trick, this one is defective from the start in that the intake pipe is leaking out. But what I ended up doing to fix this, years ago I did this on a whim, but you find a package. I bet we have one in the house somewhere right now because we just moved in, and I hate these packages. They're everywhere. In fact, you could probably use this bottle you know, and cut a section off. But what you here, these packages, blister packages, clamshells, whatever you want to call them, but get the kind with the really sturdy plastic, and you cut a strip off as wide and as big as possible. Like this kind of stuff's even better. That you need like a freaking laser torch to open. You need like a welding torch to open that packaging. And then all you do is you just lay it on here and have it go directly into the water like that. And the water flows completely over it and down in. And you can do the same thing with airlines and sponge filters, like Bob Kaler used, or not Bob Kaler, Lucas Bretz uses McDonald's, like, you know, whatever, fast food lids for sodas and runs the airline through that. That works fine too. So that's how we got around that. I'm going to try to sneak up on this blue goby, the male that's all colorful right now. He just doesn't like being filmed. But boy, he's purty. Cottonmouth, I think to get rid of cottonmouth, you should probably stop smoking so much. No, sorry, bad joke. I would say I usually do like a general cure, that kind of thing. And then I think it's a fungal, technically, or something like that. Like it might be not a paramecium, but some sort of little creature that lives in a colony, but I think it's like some sort of fungal thing. I can't remember for sure. But you basically got to treat it that way. I don't know of any home remedies like salt or anything that will like surefire take care of that, unfortunately. Hey, Petroman. Oh man, that ad. There's an old woodwork saying, you can never have too many clamps. I have seen that ad on every Fish Tubers channel. I mean, it's clearly targeted at me, not based on what channel I'm watching. But man, have I seen that ad a lot lately. That one and a Capital One ad with Samuel L. Jackson doing something or other with some superhero thing. And I'm just over it. Over it. But yeah, so I just wanted to know what you guys would like to see too, because I like to weigh that into what I'm doing. But I kind of want to move this tank too. I'd rather have the 55 here, because really the 55 would only take up from here to the wall. And I really wish it would fit this, the bow front would fit in here, but it just doesn't. And unless my wife lets me cut that, it's just not going to happen. It's an inch. It's not even an inch. It's like half an inch too short. It's under half an inch too short. So that's frustrating. We'll go with frustrating. Maddening. We'll go with maddening. But yeah, so I want to do that. I want to breed baddis again. I ran into another problem, which is I can't top these tanks off with a bucket. So that's something that we'll have to figure out. And I've got these like little quick pumps, and I've got a small extra. Whenever something's super on sale, like I think this one was $8.99 and normally like $40 or $39.99, I'll usually buy it. So I kind of had this supply that I didn't even realize I had of things. So yeah, the other thing that I wanted to do. Oh, nice, Bob. You got some nice mangrove shoots. Keep light above them is an issue. Alex, where did you get the risers on the tank by the front porch? FP. What does FP stand for? I'm really stupid. All adults think multiple tanks is crazy? No, it's okay. Alex, what if you can't get general cure? Do you know? Oh, I would assume general cure is probably some combination of like an IC-X type chemical or ick treating chemical, and it may have a dye in it. Henna, I know, has a lot of the same properties. So you could try henna. I don't know the dosage. There's probably some info online. I'm sorry, I don't know more off the top of my head, and I don't want to tell you something wrong because I just don't know. Also, oh, I've got a dehumidifier in here. Oh, the fireplace, the riser. The risers for the light or for the tanks or. Oh, Alan, thank you so much. Yeah, for the linear piston fun. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's that and wiring the water drain. I don't mind if I have to manually move the drain each tank to tank and I don't have every tank drilled. That's fine because I move things around. I'm indecisive. And that room's not that big of a room. It's all pretty compact and pretty close to the like my last house was 2 floors and it just was hard. Praziquantel and Metroplex. There we go. So it's an antibiotic and praziquantel. So it's an anti-parasitic, antifungal, and an antibiotic, according to Nigel. So something like that, you might need to buy 2 things. We'll do it. Now, a lot of dyes, like I said, will do that, like malachite green, Victoria green, or blue, obviously methylene blue. But as with any of those dyes, there's a yellow hue that comes from henna that will kill parasites. Also, tea tree oil and eucalyptus will. But it's one of those things where a little bit doesn't do anything, a lot kills the fish, and somewhere in between is the sweet spot that will work. And it's different for different fish, so that's what makes those difficult. If you can, I mean, veterinarian friends are great to have that will send you something. I know Father Fish could get stuff as a dealer, or any local fish store if you're tight with them. They can order stuff that like veterinarians can order. In theory, that isn't retail usually, so maybe try that. But eBay also has stuff like that. If you can find a trusted source on eBay with like a lot of good reviews. I've bought in levamisol, which is one you can't buy over the counter really usually, and that stuff is like super power dewormer. But if you need to kill planaria or some sort of worms in your fish, I mean, just a teeny little bit. I think I got an ounce of it for like $100, and I still have it. It's like 3 years old. Donna says, getting my first order from Wet Spot tomorrow. I'm broke, but so dang excited. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for turning me on to them. Yeah, no problem. They are great. They have a lot of good fishy attire, fishy sources. Aquarium Co-op and a lot of other companies buy. If you see Cichlid Exchange in those unboxing videos, that's Wet Spot. It's the same company. So a lot of people online that you see with their own business, you're really seeing theirs. Now, also, the other news, since we have quite a few people who have stuck with it with this broadcast, if you can hear me now, I have a new code for Aquatic Arts. Finally, they've been saying for a while that they were going to get it to me, but they did, and they emailed it to me this morning, and it's going to be History Secret 15, all caps, no spaces, It's not in the description right now, but I will fix that momentarily. Like after the broadcast, I will fix that. But that is going to be 15% off for all of you. If you want anything from Aquatic Arts, 15% off. And then the money, as always, the profit. So however many people use it, if you want to tell your friends or whatever, if they use it, we're going to save up, say, 8%. That's what it was last time. And then I alternate every month. Like 1 month, I decided from here out, 1 month will go to the Running River project, or Project Piaba, or Humane Society, something related to animals and conservation, or caring for adopted animals, that kind of thing. Specifically fish, like restoration of habitat is kind of my main focus. And then after that, the next month, that 8% will be saved for selling, or not selling, giving back to you guys during our next promotion with Aquatic Arts. So when they promote something, you know, quarterly, they don't want to do as many giant giveaways, I don't think, like 2 a year kind of thing. They want to do maybe every month. I give away free shipping to 5 people and $100 to someone and 50 to someone or whatever. But however it comes out, it's based on how many people have used that code. And what happened is the old codes got swooped up by Honey, the browser site. And so we're going to have to change them every 3 months. So just come to my channel and find the more recent video and you'll have it. Now the good news is with that before, your 15% code only worked once. With this, I think every 3 months or maybe even every month, we haven't clarified all that, that code will work over and over and over. So that's a better deal for you guys, which I'm excited about. I know History Secret sounds... Grant says, whoa, 8%, so over half of their retail price is profit? No, actually, Aquatic Arts, all aquarium stores, is at least 3 times what they pay wholesale for fish is what you're going to pay. Aquatic Arts comes under that in their clearance section if they just need to make room, but they're getting a bigger warehouse. And unless something's a slow seller, you know, they just try to keep that ratio the same. But they do pay a little more for certain fish. So you'll see different prices because they really want to take care of breeders that are in the hobby and pay them cash, you know, real money, not just store credit. And things like their cories, their plecos, they're bred locally in the Midwest rather than imported, a lot of them. So they're really big on that, and they really want to keep that going so that there can be hobbyist breeders or retired folks that are breeding, and so it can support your hobby and it can make you money. And yes, it's a little more for the consumer, but in my opinion, that's the right way to do it, and to quarantine things and, you know, to do all that right, to try to breed more shrimp in the country and to get more obscure fish, even if they cost a little more, try to get them, you know, because you can get your bread and butter fish wherever. And so that's kind of their line of thinking, but I'm going to be working with their marketing team. Traditionally, I work with Charlie's Produce lately, which is my wife's company, and I've been doing marketing for them. If you've seen the black watermelons, they're like dark colored watermelons from Japan. Well, they started growing them in the US, and so they needed a rebrand, so we rebranded them Yumi watermelons, which is a Japanese themed kind of rebrand. And we're going to be doing the same thing with strawberries, yada yada. So any case, I've been working with that, and so I've been really busy freelancing, working for that, and just trying to pay for the new house. And we paid off my wife's car. We have no outstanding debt, except for I need to get dentures, and that's going to be a few tens of grands when all's said and done. So that will be the next big thing. But we got the house covered now, the payments and stuff, and we just wanted to get to a spot where we could do that. And now, because I finished up the produce branding and marketing, I'm going to be kind of working with Aquatic Arts. They have a new coordinator. Before, it was just an employee that was very passionate about fish, and had a background in fisheries, actually, but not marketing, not graphic design, none of that stuff. And so I'm hoping to kind of be a little more teamed up with them, and, you know, honestly, they're going to send me information on like what fish are in quarantine, and then I can release that to my members, to the channel members, and I can tell you guys, hey, next Friday night they're gonna announce that they have 20 female Scarlet baddis or whatever it is. And so then they're also working with me. Like, I've told them that everybody wants the alligator toothpick fish that Aquarium Co-op showed, and that a lot of native fish they want to start carrying. So they've been working on sourcing all that stuff. And another person I've reached out to is Jonah's Pets, or Jonah's Aquarium, which he does specifically, a guy named Matt I've been speaking with, does specifically collecting native fish and aquaculture fish. And so that's another thing I'd like to team up with. If Aquatic Arts doesn't get the ball rolling and doesn't get a lock on the wild native North American fish, then I'll find another source. And right now, Jonah, I always say Noah, has a lot of selection. I don't know a ton about their business practices. I've bought fish from them with my fish club once, and then on my own another time. But I need to know a little more before I can, endorse them as a place. Just because Aquatic Arts is, like, to me, the gold standard of how the hobby should be run, as far as I don't have anything negative other than their shipping prices. And that's because, especially right now, nobody can rely on the USPS to not kill your fish. And so, yeah. But as you guys know, I don't work with a ton of brands. The other thing is, because I'm working with them on that, and I'm not working freelance for a little bit on any giant projects, or I'm not on a contract for at least the next month. I mean, that might change. But because of that, I also, I want to try something. And if you guys think that I'm just a sellout and a piece of crap and you don't want me to do it, then, I'll listen to you guys. But, I want to start posting a link in the description. It's there right now, to Audible. And in full transparency, Amazon, basically, for anybody who signs up and does a free trial, which you get 2 books to download, and it's free. But you put in your credit card, and they hope that you forget to cancel. But if you like it, you keep doing it, and it's like, I think, $7 a month. If you don't like it, then just cancel it. But every time you do that, it's somewhere between $3 and $5 that gets put into an account for me. I mean, I have to pay taxes on it, obviously, but that's going to be something I want to try, because so much of my videos and my research is done by listening to audiobooks. I'll listen to Dragon Behind the Glass, which is a great book, which is, about the arowana trade, and, or Toy Fish, which is about the history of fish in America, or The Inner Fish in You, which is about the biology of mammals and fish and where we diverged. And there's just a lot of great books that maybe I'm browsing the internet doing research and I'm looking at charts, but I like to listen to them too. So it's something that I really do use, and I've had a subscription to for a long time, and that I feel like a lot of you guys are into those kind of nerdy, I'll just call it what it is, nerdy science stuff and fish stuff. So in any case, if that's something you're interested in, it's in the description. And if you want to help out the channel, I still get a commission just for you guys signing up, even if you cancel and spend no money. So that would help me out if you guys are interested. And if you like it, then they double that commission. So it's like, I think, $6 or $8 that I get a month after you guys have been on the service. So it's an inexpensive service, and I just like being able to listen to books, like while I'm in the car, or while I'm out for a walk, or if I'm doing water changes. And if you haven't noticed, I'm also kind of posting the words podcast on my episodes that are mostly auditory, so that I know a lot of you do water changes while you're doing, while you're watching YouTube. I do it too. And so whether it's cleaning or water changes or getting ready with the brine shrimp or making a fish jello with your, whatever it is. I just think that there's a section of us that really like audio information. So I'll be putting the word podcast in that, and then I started a playlist of videos. I think there's about 70 on there right now, so that should keep people busy. If they're interested, if you're interested. Oh, my address. Oh, well, you guys don't know which street I'm on, but in any case, if people wanted to figure it out, they'd figure it out. I'm not that big of a deal, but yeah, so that's the deal. I just wanted to throw that out there, and if people like it, great. If If everybody thinks that that's too money grubby or whatever, then I can see that point of view, because we already have paid members, we already have Patreon, and you guys already do super chats, and that means so much. And you guys watch ads that YouTube gets. It's becoming harder and harder. YouTube takes more and more, Google takes bigger and bigger cuts of things as things go on, and so you feel like your channel's growing, but your revenue isn't growing at the same rate. It's growing, don't get me wrong, but I'm at that kind of critical turning point where I still need to take on uh, freelance gigs and jobs, but I'd rather, put out better quality, longer material, film on site, go buy the fish or go visit the place, spend more hours researching and digging up, archival stuff, whatever it may be. I'd rather have that time to dedicate to the channel, ideally. But yeah. Any case, so that's the end of my little soapbox rant. And this is my front yard. This is the whole thing right here. So we traded a front yard for the backyard. And there's my little truck that could. If it were white, it would be more common. But a Ford Ranger from the early 2000s, doesn't get more common than that. We're going to see how the Wi-Fi goes out here. But my wife has forgotten there's a front yard. So there could be a koi pond in the front yard. Although the raccoons and coyotes are a real thing here. And then we've got this carport. We don't have a garage, but we have a carport and a little side area. But the carport, I think, is storage and all that stuff. So, let's see here. Evo, my ex had a Ranger, so they've always unfortunately reminded me of him. Now I can just think of you when I see a Ranger. Yeah, well, if I'm better, then fill me in. I'll be the doppelganger. So thanks. I'm cooler anyways. Well, I appreciate that. So yeah, tubbing this year, I really want to do stuff. I want to push some limits. I've been testing a lot of fish that people say, that's not a fish that you can do X, Y, or Z with. That you live too far north. You're in Seattle. That's farther north than Bangor, Maine. Yeah, it is. But you can actually do more than people think. Especially when you have mud and it's close to the house. Or if you're willing to do a heater in those tanks that clicks on maybe a little bit at night. And if I don't need to use heaters in the fish room because that whole room is heated, then that will definitely free up some electricity funds, because, I'm starting to spend with all those tanks. With a heater in every tank at the old house, I was definitely spending a couple $100 a month between water, electricity, and everything. It's real expensive in Seattle. So, in any case, yeah. Alishan says, if possible, add Confessions of a Tropical Fish Addict by Ross Sokolov and An Aquarius Journey by Rosario Lacorte to your reading list. Oh, I totally will. Thank you so much. I love that kind of stuff. That's great. The other thing that's really great book-wise, and Google Books has it for free. I'd love it if I could try to sell it like, oh yeah, you really need to go download Audible. But honestly, you can read through the documents for free. Our old scholarly journals, at the time, they're just hobbyists. They're rich people that basically left Europe in the 1500s through the 1890s. And they just traveled the world and made notes on what they were seeing. That's really what they were. A lot of them studied, but your high school education would have been better than their years at university in many ways today. So interesting take on it is the scholars of the past, they're really just enthusiasts in many ways. And there are some really fascinating stories of, British, Dutch, German, and you can totally just translate it on Google. And sometimes you can even highlight it and let it read for you. But go find your favorite fish, look at their Latin name, then type that in, then find if you can see who first found it and the year, which is usually the year and the last name, on Wikipedia or fish. I mean, there's so many sites, but you can figure that out. And then from there, see if they published a diary or a journal or an expedition thing or a treatise. Just look for certain words like that. You'll figure it out what you're looking for. And under Google Scholar, you can't just Google search it. You go to Google Scholar, and then within that, you go hunting. You can find, books from the 1840s or the 1790s where they're talking about, it's like a journal basically of, oh, I discovered this, we pickled the thing and this, and then the guys on the boat ran out of rum, so they drank all the specimens. I can't tell you how many times that is the record that is noted for collecting new species of animals, is we put it in formaldehyde or alcohol or isopropyl or ether or whatever, just liquid, like just gnarly stuff, whatever they put it in. And every time they're like, 3 guys died, another one's blind, it was in methyl alcohol instead of ethyl alcohol. Like, but so many times that happens in those old books, or old diaries, I should say. So don't do that. / maybe we should do some miniature skits of how the discoveries went, where that happens. But I need to go meet my wife, who's getting off work in a moment. Ears itchy, allergies. And yeah, local libraries, there aren't that many good fish books that are accessible. There's some incredible fish books that have been written. Most are out of print, most were limited print, and they're like the life passion of some one person. And you have to find that person and then figure out that they had a book. If you go to the Library of Congress online, it should be registered with them under an ISBN number, like the number on the back of the book. And hopefully you can figure that out. If there's some topic you're looking for, like angelfish, I know there's a lot of books that have been written on them. That's where I got a lot of my info for that history of angelfish video that I did. It didn't get a ton of views, but that was one I researched for like months off and on, and that I got a lot of interesting stuff, like the price of angelfish from newspapers in San Francisco. It was in the front page of the San Francisco, Examiner? I think that's what it was at the time. That they had an angelfish from the savage jungle of Peru, and that they successfully bred it in 1917 in San Francisco. And it had the price and the size, and I mean, like, so there's just crazy stuff that you can find online on the Library of Congress, on some of these scholarly journal sites, and I think it's fun to research. But Audible is just yet another resource where you can kind of listen through, and sometimes it's in books you wouldn't expect. Maybe it's something on Darwinism or something on why Darwinism is wrong or whatever, but you get these nuggets of information all over the place. And I know a lot of you aren't just fish people. A lot of you are cat and dog or nature, or you're interested in physics or hydraulics or engineering or woodworking or whatever it may be. There's just so much stuff out there. I think that'll be a whole video again, is like how to do research is just a really valuable skill to pick up, like to know the corners of the internet to look in, because there's just so much info now, it's hard to filter through it. But I do need to go. Yes, you can never have too many clamps. I do need to filter through it, and kind of, that's the point partially of this channel. The other thing I really want to do in the coming year or two is really get some of those 90-year-olds, those 100-year-olds that kept fish, and get their accounts on paper or record, tape, whatever, celluloid, not cellulite, celluloid, whatever. But I want to do some interviews with some old timers, even older than like Fatherfish, like that remember pre-World War II still, because they will not be around soon. But in any case, I need to get out of here and meet my wife at the old house. Cellulose is right. That's the same thing that's in plants. Because I'm thinking of film, like the flammable stuff. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm not talking about cottage cheese on my fat leg or the stuff that plants make. I'm talking about the flammable film. If those images are all good enough for you guys. Um, he's in his 90s and recently recovered from COVID. Rosario, huh? Interesting. Um, so in any case, thank you guys for joining me today. Have a great celluloid. Okay, it is celluloid, I think. Yeah. Um, so have a great day, you guys. Um, and you know, take care of your fish. Let me know if there's anything you'd really like to see now that you kind of see my space, hear my ideas. That's everything I have. I'm gonna start filtering up the 40 or cycling the 40. I mean, I'll probably just use existing substrate and like a little bit of that and some decor and then some filter floss from another tank. And so it should be jump started within a matter of days, really, especially if I go easy on what fish I add. But yeah, so, and if you're interested in the Audible audiobooks, that link is in the description, and I will add the link for the suction cups if anybody wants that, because before a lot of people asked. And then also for the new aquatic arts link, because the old codes are off now. They turned them off. We have a new one, and it's for 15% off your entire order of anything alive that they sell. So that's that. And yeah, guys, thanks again. Thank you, super chatters. Thank you, mods. And thank you for all your all that you do, all your support, and for your time. So have a great night, guys. I will talk to you later. That's that. Have a good one.